Hi everyone, welcome to Weekly Word, and my name's Jonathan Hatt, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about being a living sacrifice. And I don't know if you know this, but the Bible tells us to be a living sacrifice. In Romans 12, verses 1 to 2, it says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy," so because of God's mercy, "to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." So what does that mean to be a living sacrifice? And Paul is urging them to. Now in the Old Testament, sacrifices were killed, they died, blood had to be shed for the atonement of sins. Because of sin, death is required. So that's why they would have sacrifices. And everyone reading Paul's letter here to the church in Rome was well aware of that. They were well aware of how sacrifices worked. And as a growing church of believers there in Rome, they also knew the sacrifice, the incredible sacrifice that Jesus paid to get rid of all the sin, to atone for all the sin in their lives. Their needs became sacrifices to the needs of God, where their needs were put aside and God's needs were put in front. And that's what it meant to be a living sacrifice. And Paul was telling the church in Rome that, listen, to be an effective church, to be an effective Christian, you have to sacrifice your needs. Be a living sacrifice where Christ's needs are put before your own. Now, Paul was able to talk about this so well because he had to do it himself every single day. Now, Paul, before he was converted, was called Saul, and he was just a workhorse, a powerhouse for what he thought was what God wanted, where he was doing what God was asking him to, but it was actually tearing the church down. He was ripping families apart. He was killing Christians. He was putting people in prison. And then when he got converted, God showed up in a real way and changed his name from Saul to Paul, and his life completely changed around. Those things that he did before and the things that he used to do used to haunt him and were weighing him down. But then God freed him from that. And he said, I got to become a living sacrifice, put those old things behind, put the way I used to be behind, and move forward in my walk with Christ. To be a living sacrifice every day. And he said, I have a hard time with that, to put what he used to do behind him and put what Christ wanted him to do forward. Now, what are we living for in our lives? So often we're selfish and we look after our own needs and we look after ourselves first. But are you living for you and your needs and your pleasures and your wants? Or are you every day living for Christ and what He wants for you and what He has in store for you? Philippians 1:21 says, For to me to live is Christ and to die is gain. 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. No matter what you're doing, do it for God. Matthew 6:33 says, Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness first. We put God's needs before our own. We put what He wants forward rather than what we want. So I challenge you this week, where are you living? Are you a living sacrifice? Are you living for yourself? Or are you living for Christ? Take a moment this week to see, are there areas of my life that I'm holding back from God? And if you are, make that decision today to be like Paul, to say, I got to put myself behind and put Christ forward. And when you do, God will use you in ways that you never thought possible. Have a great week, everyone.